Hey guys, today's story is going to be about a rather trashy DM that tries to get back at his girlfriend. So, at the time of the posting of the story itself had happened fairly recently, only a few weeks prior. And in this story, we have myself as a tiefling barbarian, Roger as a tabaxi rogue, and kind of the comic relief of the group, Stacy, who was a half-elf bard, and was nice and the girlfriend of the DM. Austin, who was a human paladin of the sun, and was just a Dark Souls nerd and was playing a paladin for the chance to shout Deus Vult. And then we have Chris, who was our DM, and was pretty much your typical game shop DM, but not as large or unclean. He had his problems, but he could take care of himself well. But how he managed to get a girlfriend in the first place, I don't know. So I'm going to try to keep this relatively short, so it doesn't drag on too long. I went to my local gaming store to see about getting the new Ravenloft book when I noticed that they were finally in store again. And there I met Roger, Stacy, Austin, and Chris. Chris was wanting to do a bit of a homebrewed version of Faerun, mostly just using the setting and rewriting the history. I asked if I could join their game, and Chris said that I was more than welcome to. I had also never played a tiefling before, so I figured I would try it out. So in came my character, Liara, the tiefling barbarian. I drew her beforehand during my creative flow of character creation a week prior, and I whipped up a character sheet and wrote a cool backstory fit for a level 1 character, which was the level that we started at. Stacy made her character pretty much as a blank slate since she was new to the game and wanted to bond more with Chris doing some stuff that he likes. The most that she really experienced of a fantasy setting was watching Lord of the Rings. She was also very nice, and I helped her with a little bit of her build going for a little bit of optimization. And as for Austin, he was just doing his own thing in his own corner of the table, laughing his butt off the entire time. I actually got along with him really well for the most part, partly because we both have autism. And as for Roger, he was the only one at the table that I knew, since he graduated a year before me. He knew what he was doing for the most part, but still asked some questions when needed. And it's a little bit late in the story for descriptions, but we were all around the same age. The biggest difference being about 7 years, with Austin being the youngest at 17 and Chris being the oldest at 24. But anyway, we began to play about a week later, and everything was going well. We decided that meeting at a tavern was good, so we met up in a tavern in Kalimshan, where a genie woman was serving drinks and providing the night's entertainment. Roger's character was tasked with gathering a group of people to assist in finding and securing a magical artifact important to his employer. He found Stacy with her bow, Austin in his armor, and my tiefling, Liara, with her greatsword, at the bar. He offered the three of us a quarter of the profits each if we accepted. So we accepted. Austin accepting if he could get a golden cross as well. Roger agreed, and we went on our merry way. And after a tough battle against a rather large group of kobolds, we managed to find the MacGuffin. We delivered it to Roger's boss, and we got our fair share of gold, about 15 pieces each. And it's here that we find that his boss is the obvious BBEG. The BBEG dismissed us, and our characters head back to the tavern, dirty and sweaty, but with our heads held high. We decided to drink to celebrate. Austin roleplayed really well about his character drinking and preaching about the sun to the bar's patrons. And Roger's character revealed to Stacy's that he has a little bit of a thing for her. So they roleplayed that for a bit, before an NPC approached my character, who was just drinking and enjoying the show that the genie was putting on. The NPC made a comment on how my character was dressed, and how she would look better in his bed. I said that she wasn't interested, and that he should try one of the brothels if he's so inclined to get someone in his bed. He obviously didn't like that because he grabbed my character by the arm and started to pull. I tried to pull away, and I was asked to make a strength check. I rolled, and I got a dirty 20. It didn't succeed. The following dialogue ensued. Well, then I grabbed my sword and I tried to stab it into him.
You can't.
Why not?
Because it's at the other side of the bar.
And why would I have my sword at the other side of the bar? That makes no sense.
Because.
Can someone help me out?
Do I notice this filthy heretic? Roll perception with disadvantage since you're drunk.
Well, I got 2 nat 20s.
Well, the nat 20 rule doesn't apply here since you're not in combat. What is it with modifiers?
Let me check. Well, it'd be about a 24.
Nope.
What about us?
Roll with disadvantage. Why? We're not drunk or anything. Well, maybe not, but you're occupied with each other.
Stacy got a look on her face like,
oh really?
And then set that aside to roll. Stacy rolled a 25 with modifiers, along with a 26, not 20, and Roger rolled a 19 and a 21. He biffed the rolls, and did either succeed? No. Well, this is bullcrap. How the heck does nobody notice this?
Well, they're too enthralled with the genie. And besides, your character isn't putting up too much of a fight.
She's literally hitting him and yelling at him. How is that not putting up a fight?
Well, she's dressed that way for a reason, right?
As he said this, he pointed his finger towards my part of the table. I followed his finger's direction towards my character sheet and sketchbook, which was opened up to my character's drawing. I just looked at him dumbfounded, and looking at Stacy, his girlfriend, she just looked shocked and a little scared. Needless to say, I was done there, and so was everyone else. And as we left, I heard Stacy yelling at Chris, and him yelling back. But I couldn't tell what, since I was already so pissed off and concentrating on just getting the heck out of there. He removed me from the Facebook group chat, and everyone else just left on their own. And whenever I go there, he's still set up ready for a game. He doesn't have any players though. I brought the situation up with the store owner, and all he would say was that it was a personal matter between Chris and I. He isn't advertising D&D right now, but he's still paying that dipstick of a DM to sit at a table. And heck, even the Tuesday group is more understanding and fair than that guy. But that's another story for another day. To add to all this, some people have been asking what has happened to Stacy and Chris. As the three of us guys were leaving the store, Chris and her got into a shouting match. And according to Roger, it was about how Stacy felt that she was always walking on eggshells around Chris, and how she can't have any interactions with guys anymore when he's around. Whether it's a harmless conversation with a friend, or a meaningful exchange with family. The owner of the store told Stacy to leave the premises for harassing one of his employees. She's still allowed in the store, but she doesn't even want to drive past the place after that exchange. And the two have officially broken up, for any of you who might still be concerned. And I found out recently that Stacy and Roger had planned to collaborate with their backstories, giving some hints to each other within them. They planned on having their characters get together for a short bit before it was revealed that they were actually brother and sister, attempting to pull a Luke and Leia from Star Wars. The DM should have known about this, since he approved all of our backstories beforehand. So either he skimmed over them, or he just didn't bother actually reading them. And to make things clear for some people, Liara, my character, was the daughter of a brave knight, and her father's last request was that she take his sword and do something great with it. This adventure was supposed to be her something great, and her father passed, so she took his sword to go on an adventure. Roger's character found her in the tavern at the beginning of the campaign, just in time, because she was about to start drinking her sorrows away, grieving the loss of her father. And because of her backstory, This is yet another reason that it was quite baffling that Chris forced her sword to be at the other end of the bar. And, to add even more to this, some people have said that I deserved what happened because I flirted with Stacy's character. But that in of itself is not true, because Roger is the one that did that. I was the DM's rebound that wanted absolutely nothing to do with the situation. And as for Austin, he's no longer allowed by his parents to hang out at the shop because of the DM in question, and the owner's crappy response to her concerns, claiming that it was nothing more than a personal problem. They've left a rather nasty review on Google, and all of us are working together to get WOTC to stop supplying the store with their products. This isn't the only thing that we're reporting them for. There's a few other things as well. But thank you all for sticking around, and I hope you enjoyed it. Well guys, one thing is for sure, the DM was quite insecure, and according to the OP in the comment section, the DM specifically didn't like his girlfriend talking to the male members of her family, which I think is pretty damning in of itself. But with that being said, what more is there really to say here? Everyone kinda left the group when they got a whiff of something bad. The owner is a craphead and is potentially going to get his comeuppance because people are going to probably not visit his store as much. The DM is apparently not DMing for anyone, is just sitting at a table, which is kind of a sad thought, really. And Stacy maybe got a better taste in men and won't make the mistake of getting a Chris again. I am kinda curious though on what kind of friendship the DM and the owner had, because that just seems a little bit weird to me. But in any case, let me know what you guys think, and as always, have a good one.